Hello, and welcome to World of Women podcast by Zita's Healthy Beginnings. Today is August 1st. Can you believe it? We're in August already. Wow. Yes. And as we had decided from last week or last few weeks, to change the World of Women podcast to just once a month due to other commitments. I know we have spent time sharing it, every week, but due to our other commitments, we have decided to cut it back because we need to really continue with other things as well that are as important as World of Women podcast. And you know that Word of Women podcast is brought to you by Disability and Channel and Transform You and Park. We are so happy for the opportunity they have given to us all these months to reach our audience through this platform. So we are very glad, and Zita's Healthy Beginnings has really grown. Touched many different people, different parts of the globe. We have also had the opportunity to interview men and women from around the world who have come to this podcast to share their perspective, share their products, share their expertise on how to help women and children, and most importantly, how to build families. We know what is going on globally is that family life is under attack. It's hard these days because of the culture and our social settings. It's very hard to find a community or to find a family that is really cohesive. They're being torn apart by trying to maintain daily living. Inflation is on the high rise. You see, even healthcare, insurance, banking, everything is kind of working against the family system. And the question is, who is doing this? Why are we struggling with this? How did we get to this whole point where we cannot even take care of ourselves, take care of our families anymore? And not even to talk about our communities. These are all genuine concerns that we are really faced. The question is, when and how do we tackle them? I know a lot of people have their own perspective, their own opinions. They share it on different platforms. But here on this platform, we try to focus on what is really life-giving, what is possible, what is doable. And we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we make sure that our audience hear us and hear us loud and clear and help us to bring in their own perspective on how we can make our lives and community family lives better. And when we do that, we eventually make our world a better place. And that is our ultimate goal. So this evening, I am calling on Johannes Hogenhart to please share with us your own background. Johannes has been let me put it this way, patron of Zita's Healthy Beginnings. He has supported us in so many ways, both physically, spiritually, and other ways. And we are so thankful. Johannes has really put out his time, put out himself out there to serve the poor and the rich as well, to be everything for everybody. And we are so thankful. So this evening, I would like to, bring Johannes to share a little bit about himself and answer the questions that we have already posed to him. And so, Johannes, you're welcome. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Zita. So my name is Johannes Hogenhout, born in the Netherlands. Pretty early in life, I got disgusted by the way life was in the Netherlands. not realizing that the rest of the world was exactly the same. So at age 19, I immigrated to New Zealand. From there, I landed into America. I've been a contractor for 52 years and found out that people, no matter where you live, no matter what culture you're in, I've lived with people from all over the world. Everybody wants the same thing: some food on the table, some love in their life, and a bed to put their head down at nighttime. There's no difference. People everywhere in the world are the same. In my career of 52 years in the trade, I have served many people who were none the happier after I'd rebuilt their home or built their home because they were not happy within themselves. And I've always had a feeling like I'd like to be of service, but those who are not happy to start with, how can you serve them? They don't appreciate anything anyway. So I learned from that happiness comes before whatever you possess, and the possessions don't make you happy. In fact, the less need you have for things, the more happy you are to start with. So that's a bit of my background. I was asked two questions. One is artificial intelligence, what I think of that. Well, I'll start with that since I brought it up first. The word itself tells me something about a lie that we are being given. Artificial intelligence. It is no intelligence. It is what we make it and what we give it, the power we give it. If we use a calculator, if that is called artificial intelligence years ago, it is just what the information a person has put into a gadget, and the gadget just follows the orders. And that is to this day, although now people are putting in so much subtle messages within the artificial gadgets that many people believe what they read, what they get shown on pictures that can be manipulated 50 million different ways. So I believe we have to, I for one, I'm very careful what I take on from what is called AI, and most of it I reject due to my life experiences. The more we focus on phones, Zoom calls, computers, the less we're living in the moment where we are. It is always about someone somewhere else doing something else instead of me focusing what am I making of my life, which is in the here and now, not somewhere else later or yesterday. So that's my opinion on AI. As of a father's advice to young people. Wow, that's a very big subject. I have some regrets in my life, and not to the point that I stay guilty about them. I've been there, done that. I've healed all that for myself and even my ex. I have some regrets. Now I've been around the block a few times. I regret not respecting my first wife enough for giving us the 3 children we had. I regret being, as a young man, over-sexualized everything that had to do with my wife. That was my main interest. And I lost sight of reality, as I think many young men do, that it isn't about us or our lust and our wants. It is finding the balance in how to create a family. I'm eternally grateful for my children, as is my ex-wife, and after 30 years, we talk not regularly, we talk from time to time, and we very much appreciate the time we did have together. As for young men, advice, stop being so oversexed. It isn't about sex. That's not the main thing in life. And respect the woman you're with, or find a woman that you can respect and build with. Patience and respect, main qualifications I think young men need to develop. And I say that because I wish I had developed those earlier, to be more of service to the community, to be of better service to my children. They lacked nothing. We still have a very good relationship, but that is what I would say to young people. And thank you for letting me voice all that.
Thank you so very much, Johannes, for sharing about your background and also answering our questions. You know, one thing actually that hit me hard listening to what you shared was saying that, you know, one has to be happy. Happiness is not about what you can accumulate, because believe it or not, we know and we have heard about very rich people who ended up committing suicide. And you sit back and you're like, what? What actually happened? We don't know, because they're gone. You know, we don't know what happened. But what we know as a reality is that it wasn't the properties they have. It wasn't what really gave them the joy they needed. It wasn't it. There was something that they were longing for, that all those, you know, physical materials couldn't satisfy. And some of them died lonely. You know, some of them, you just find them dead. So that tells you how lonely people can be, and also to tell us that you can be happy without all the material things. You can, it's possible. People have lived it. Research has proven that. So when you mention that, I agree with you 100%. And how I wish we could get that into the heads of the young generation. Because we think that, you know, it's all about accumulating, and not only accumulating, just get it however you can. You know, it's not even looking for it in the right way, which is part of the problem. You accumulate this, stepping on all people's, food, trying to trample down other people, trying to steal it even from other people. Look at all the scammers in the whole world right now. What is that about? Yeah. It is about taking what does not belong to somebody. That's what it is about. And the question is, when we accumulate all of this and we do all this scamming and we get all this, is that really going to bring us happiness? No. In fact, it makes us more enslaved. That's what it does. And that's why people end up sometimes taking their own life, because it's like, okay, I have all this stuff right now. It's not even bringing me joy. I'm not contented. Well, I don't know what else to do, and I don't know where else to turn except to just end it all, unfortunately. And that is on the rise for so many reasons. But we know bottom line is that people are not happy, and materials can never buy us happiness. What can buy us happiness, we know, is like what we're talking about. When you reach out to people in your own life, you're able to share your life, whatever you have, be it word of encouragement, be it skills and talents, whatever it is you have, you share that openly, pay it forward. That's what gives me joy. And I know that's what gives most of us right here now joy, because we want to help out. We want to pay it forward. So I am so thankful that we are able to, share and mainly pointed at that happiness. what gives anybody joy and happiness, it isn't really the amount of property you have, the number of cars you have, number of houses. All of those are good, but just to realize that that does not give you happiness. You're going to have to be happy first before you get all of those stuff, because then you're able to enjoy it. And guess what? You're able to share too. So the spirit of sharing, of relation, is what I feel brings more joy than anything else. And the other point you mentioned about talking to the young people and giving them that piece of advice is that the whole thing about this artificial intelligence is what, because in the minds of the young people, their brain, like science has proven, is still not well formed. In fact, up to 25 years, a young person's brain, male and female alike, are still not well formed. And that's why most of the havocs they wreak, in other people's lives and even in their own lives happens at this age, bracket. And so it is important that we start nurturing them, helping them to understand that this artificial intelligence is not real. Like you said, it's totally fake. And when we talk about artificial intelligence in the 21st century, my question is, so computer that was, invented in the 90s. That's when I knew it started being more popular. Was that artificial intelligence? What was it? So what has really transpired between the 90s and now that we are all pursuing shadows? That's what I feel. I don't know what this is about, but I am so worried about the impact this is going to leave in the young minds. And this is intentional as well. What is this going to do in the young minds? What is it going to do in the families? What is it going to do in the communities that are already at the verge of, like dissipating? Now we're bringing something that will even make it worse instead of bringing families together. So it is something of a concern to all of us, and all of us should be able to, look at it, think about it, maybe pray over it, and really see what are we being called individually to do right now to help young people, because the future lies in their hands. How are we really helping them? How are we equipping them to face the challenges of the daily life? Those are the questions I feel that we should be grappling with right now, see how we can, find solutions. And I'm going to also leave it open to anyone who is also, interested in sharing their own perspective. That would be great. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
Thank you. I can't help this a really real topic, meaning that value, my opinion, that I believe every human being on the face of this planet was born to serve the other person. Everybody in this planet has a gift inside them that they were given. And a gift is to serve other people. And that is where you find pure joy. I had my stroke, my brain injuries. I'm now a servant leader. I'm building a media corporation called Stroke TV. Giving is probably the most selfish thing you can do, because when I serve or give to other people, I am filled with the joy and energy and love that is beyond words.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And when you do that, other people will see and say, oh my goodness, wait, look at what he's doing. Then they will start thinking that positive energy will flow through you to them. And they start thinking positively. Can you imagine talking in the presence of all 10 people listening to you, and then they will share that with other 10 people, what good we can do? That is awesome. And I really appreciate what you're doing, because not everybody can be a survivor. You know that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of people who didn't make it, and here you are alive and able to share your experience, and also able to help other people, who are struggling. So yes, for me, that's what brings joy. That's what gives you happiness.
It really is. Your energy, sister, is great. Your energy, Jonathan, is great. I feel it.
Yes.
The energy knows no distance, knows no, there isn't on the other side of the world. We're joined together with energy. We're all eternal spiritual beings learning to live in a human body. And we are bound altogether. The problem is, in my opinion, society forgets that. They all me, it's all about me and me, step on the neck of the other person.
Right.
Whatever, rise to the top. And that can be the furthest from the truth.
Absolutely. And that's why it is important. Society forgets it, like you said, because they are in chase for other stuff that don't really give us that quality of life. And people like us should always remember that we are really in the minority in our society today. People who are really paying it forward, being generous with helping other people, they're in the minority. They're not many of us, and we tend to get discouraged sometimes. You're like, oh my goodness, like what I'm doing, I'm like, what impact am I really making? Nobody's listening, or not many people are responding. Therefore, you get disheartened, you're discouraged. And sometimes I feel that way. But each time when I sit down and reflect, I say to myself, you don't have to worry about who hears or doesn't hear. All you have to do is you have to keep doing good. Keep doing it. At some point, somebody will get it someday. But if I'm focusing on, oh yeah, who is listening, who is doing this or doing that, I wouldn't do it. And so many people have been discouraged that way, because some people will just, even sometimes they ask you, what does she think she's doing? Who does she think she is? She should go find something else. And what is it, something else? I don't know. And I don't know whether that is the experience of, you guys to share, speak to that as well. Because it can be discouraging when you feel you're the only person, you're the only voice, in the wilderness. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was getting first started doing what I'm doing, I used to speak to the masses, think I was talking to the world, but that one person, I had a spiritual mentor tell me how one person, just talk to that one person. Don't worry about it. You'll reach many, but talk to the one person, help the one person.
Absolutely. Yes, because that one person, we don't know the impact that one person is going to make to the rest of the world. Yeah. Johannes, you were going to add something to that?
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. First of all, looking back, I wish I had given my teachers on life's journey more, I don't know the word for that. I wish I had appreciated them more verbally for what they did for me on my journey. I've had many teachers. I've looked at very many different things I've always been searching in my life, but I've never given people their rightful credit for what they did for me or how they helped me on my journey. So I relate to you, like you wonder sometimes if it makes any difference. Well, by now, and I hear that from both of you, by now we know we do make a difference. And all we need to do is shine our light,
right,
do the best we can every day, and we know that it touches people. We may not hear from them, but we know it's working.
Mhm, mhm.
And I'm sometimes surprised. I've told a few people that I'm leaving this country, and one person even cried, which I thought was just an acquaintance. And it's like, I didn't know that I meant something to some of these people. So, yeah, you never know how you affect people.
Right.
What I wanted to touch on too, if you don't mind,
Oh, go
on
ahead, please. Yeah.
happiness. In 2005 or 2006, I had a small manufacturing plant in Arizona. And I remember standing in the middle of the workshop, 11 o'clock at night, once again doing my best to fulfill the following day's orders. The employees all had gone home, so it was up to me to make sure things were working. I stood in the middle of the workshop, 11 o'clock at night, crying. What am I doing this for? What is this all about? Because I certainly am not happy. My whole life, I had the money, I had the cars, I had the homes, I so-called had everything. In reality, I had nothing because I was not part of the equation. So having changed that over the last 5 years, I have never been happier, and I've never had less in material goods. But honestly, I have never been happier than I am now. That doesn't mean to say I don't appreciate good stuff. I do. But if I don't have it, that's fine too. So, A, it doesn't matter what I have. B, it doesn't matter who sees me or appreciates me, because that is up to them. I'm happy either way. So that's my bit to
Wow.
add to the conversation.
Thank you so much. Yes, I like that idea of, it doesn't matter who sees or hears me. Really, what counts is how I feel, who I am, my awareness of me,
Yes.
and that's how I present to the world. If I don't know who I am, what makes me happy, why I'm even on this earth, because each one of us has a purpose. Aaron, you touched on that. Each one of us carries a very significant gift in us. But if we don't know who we are, we're not going to be able to go deep down and draw all those, gifts and share it with the world, because my understanding of gifts and talents is for sharing. Nobody gets a gift and keeps it to themselves. I mean, it's useless from my own, perspective. But whatever we have, we've been gifted. And when we are gifted, we need to share it. That's what gift is all about. But we have found out that it's in most cases that due to culture, capitalism, and what have you, we are so conditioned, brainwashed to think that more is better. And we all know that more is not better. How do we change that perspective? Is by talking about it, by having that time for self-reflection, self-awareness, knowing that I am not all in this whole world just to accumulate, that I'm here to really shine my light, like we have just shared, and let the world find some encouragement, find some healing through who I am, through who you are, because that's the only way we can live in this world. Because the world we live in is full of, it's broken. It's a broken world. That's the way I look at it. And we are part of it, and we are making it worse for ourselves. How I wish people can begin to understand what we're talking about right now, what constitutes happiness, what really makes anybody uncomfortable and not able to live life to the fullest. If we all begin to think about it, reflect, and be real to ourselves, I think it will really, the fruit of that whole reflection will be more of ourselves, more giving to other people. And the more we give to other people, it comes right back. That is my experience. The more I give out, the more I receive. And sometimes we don't even know how it all happens. You know, you need something before you know it, the answer is there. The resolution comes without you really thinking too hard about it. So I'm so happy that we're here talking about this important topic and hoping that our audience are taking the notes. If they have questions to ask us, please, you can ask your questions, put it on the chat. You have the email address, Zita's Healthy Beginnings. I see that's our Zita's Healthy Beginnings is our organization, nonprofit. The email address you're looking at there is the email address you can reach us. You can also go to Facebook. We're there on Facebook, Instagram. Just Google us. You will see us there. And I am so happy that we are here this evening talking about this interesting topic. I don't know if Emily has any contribution to this before I ask Aaron to share a little bit about what he is doing also for our audience to take notes. So Emily, do you have anything to add to this conversation?
Oh, I think it's been a great conversation, and I agree with what you guys have been talking about. So, yeah, if we're not happy, how are we going to help others, and that kind of thing. So,
right. What is the input on the AI technology we're dealing with right now?
I don't know. It's kind of mixed feelings about. I mean, it can be. I don't know.
You know, I wanted to say something. The AI, I had such a spiritual problem with it because to me it was nakeding humanity. It was no longer a human spark focused. But now that I have used it quite a couple of times, you have to use it like a tool. It's just like a weapon, like anything else. You can use it in a negative, bad way, or use it as a positive way. I use it, my movement, as a positive thing. So I think it's how you use it.
True.
Yes.
Well
Yes.
put.
Yeah, well put. Yes. Because that was what happened when we first started Facebook. You know, when Facebook first came out, people didn't know what to do with it. We know there was a lot of abuse. There is still a lot of abuse on Facebook because people use it as a battleground. You know, some use it to bully others, others use it to scam others. So there are a whole lot of good stuff we could use AI for, but it is still new. It is still complicated. And we know there's a lot of scary stuff about it. And there are also different versions about AI. So it depends on what it is, you're using it for. So it is important for people to get to know, study it, know what works and what doesn't work. And like Facebook, if you feel comfortable being part of it, just remember that we're talking about being good and doing good. Anything that we do that can bring love, happiness, peace to you and to the world, please do it. AI or no AI, life still goes on. What is bottom line is, how do I relate with the other person so that they see me as a human being, someone who is there for them, and someone who is there to know, to understand, to relate, on that whole platform, and not someone who is here to get something out of them, to manipulate them, or to scam them. So I think that's what is very important whenever we're looking at some of this stuff, technology, innovation. For sure, there are good things about it, but we know that a lot of people have fallen victims of, technology. And so we want people to be on their guard, because this is another tool that could be used, to destroy the world instead of building the world. So that is what I can say. And yes, Aaron, you're right. Every tool, actually, like knife or gun, they're all tools. How do we use them? But we have seen the havoc some of these, instruments can wreak, in human life and in family. So
Well, see that you bring up a great point. Let's use Facebook. I never even thought about that. When Facebook first came out, everybody thought it was evil, it was dark, it was evil. Yes, there are people that use Facebook for bad things, scam people, whatever. I call them cyber terrorists. But the flip side of that, the other side of the coin is, I help thousands and thousands of people around the world using Facebook. It's how you use it.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. There's a lot of good things in this technology innovation, but the bad people will always find a way to make it look so bad. And they do make it bad for a lot of people, especially those who are ignorant, in how to maneuver it, to use it on a daily basis. So that's why I was talking about education. We need to be educated properly, and we need to also be given the free choice to use it or not to use it. I think what is a problem I find is when some of these innovations come up, they make it in such a way that you have no option. They kind of blend it in everyday life, in everything you're doing, to the point that you can hardly say no to it. And saying no will mean being left behind. And we don't want anybody to be left behind. But that's what technology sometimes does. And it is sometimes intentional. But I'm hopeful that with technology, it's going to help us, build us, and not break us.
I think it really comes down to what's inside the person.
Yes, exactly.
I'm with you. Zita, do you pronounce your name Zita?
Yes.
To be happy, we have to be happy inside ourselves, right where we're at. Happiness, true happiness, comes from inside us.
Yes.
And you can stack all the great things. Say we do successful things, great.
Right.
But we have happiness, a positive energy has to come from knowing that we are enough. And we, Jonathan, you and me, all exchange the world if we want to. I think.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So Aaron, tell us briefly, how did you get to start the Stroke of Genius show survival experience?
Well, it was born on my own plight. It really was. 13 years ago, I suffered a massive brain aneurysm. And 2 weeks later, I was in a coma. I suffered a massive stroke. I wasn't not supposed to be here, but through a near-death experience and the intervention of the divine God, I'm here today, and I am here. I'm with you. I think our energy, the energy that all three of us are sharing together right now, is very powerful. And I believe that all three of us have the ability to change the world. So, Stroke TV Media is really a platform to help stroke survivors find life after stroke. So I do. So I love it. I love helping stroke survivors. I do. I love it.
Wow. I'm so glad that you have really put yourself out there for people to see you. They don't have to ask, oh, I haven't seen anybody with a stroke. No, you're looking at one, a survivor. And really, you're there for people to see. It's a testimony that, yes, you can survive it. And after you survive, they see, what else can you do? You pay it forward. And that is what you're doing. I am so thankful that you bring, this good news to the rest of the world. We are so glad that God has put you here for a reason. And this is one of the reasons. It's
Yes.
like, go tell them that I exist. Go tell them that there is still life after stroke.
Oh my gosh, it's powerful, sister. You're powerful, sister. Powerful.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Aaron. Thank you for being
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I
Thank you
lost
so much
my-
for joining us. Yeah.
Lost my son at the age of 27. He died of a brain aneurysm. So
Yeah.
Wow, it's none of the reason, then look at that. You and I have been met for, but I do have a question for you. Where you located, Jonathan?
sorry.
Where are you where you located?
I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, well, your accent, I thought you were
Oh, I'm sorry.
Scotland.
I'm from the Netherlands.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but that's a long time ago.
Your son had a brain aneurysm at 27 years old.
Yeah.
They killed him or kill him? All right.
Well, he was diagnosed at 26 after he had an he fainted. He fainted while on vacation. They took him to hospital and he was told, you cannot mountain bike anymore. You cannot drive anymore. No drinking, no smoking. Well, a kid of 26,
Yeah.
he lived outdoors. He kept living the way he was and had a ball the whole year. And so he died, but he lived a happy life while he was living. So
Yeah, how do you say that was wrong? You can't. I mean,
no.
if you go out, but I was like God wasn't done by me yet. I mean, I'm fortunate, they did brought up a point, and you did too. But you can't pour from the glass that's half full. We need to focus on ourselves. Make sure we're centered, we are focused, we're happy, we have energy to give. And the only way you could do that is fill up a glass full of energy, positive energy,
Yes.
pouring into people.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well said, Aaron. Thank you so much. Yes. I am so thankful for this wonderful conversation we have had, this podcast this evening, how the whole thing evolved. This was not planned, but I feel it was divinely designed. We just found out, Yeah. So Aaron, do you have your own podcast or?
Oh yeah, I do a show called Circle of Genius Show, Survivor Experience, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on YouTube, on my Turk TV Media YouTube channel. And then I do a show called Circle of Genius Show, Executive Experience. I'm not strictly business, nothing new. I'm the stroke survivor, yes. But really, it's about anybody can come on Friday show and tell me about their business. And because they evacuate out, listen to each one of you talk. You both have strokes of genius. You're doing what your genius is. It's in you. And at some point in your life, we make it, there's like a shift that Jonathan was talking about it. You become awake. You become aware of life.
Yep.
And I believe that's what we need in the world. We need people being real people. Share the experiences.
Right. Yes, really is right. Yes. And I am so thankful that we are really being real here and sharing how we feel and how we relate. And that's so important. So I wish you well. And sometime I would like to join you in one of your shows and to talk about, what I do and how we are as the Zita's Healthy Beginnings and World of Women podcast. Like I said earlier, this is the platform we use to reach our audience, trying to help our people understand in so many different ways what life is about. What is the essence of life? How do we build ourselves up? How do we build families? How do we build community? in our global world. How do we do that? It takes each one of us. It takes all our skills and talents, which we all have, but we need the courage to go deep down and pull it up and share it with the world and to get the blessings that go with it. So I am so thankful, and I hope that we will continue to be who we are called to be, and continue to share our gifts with brothers and sisters as we meet them on a daily basis. So World of Women podcast is going to be every month, the first Tuesday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we'll be having next podcast, September, the first Tuesday of September. And we'll be also sending out messages of reminder when that time gets near. And before that time, until we get there, before next month, I want to say, please stay safe, stay cool. If you're in a cold place, stay warm. And thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron, for sharing your.
Goodbye, guys. Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
Aaron.
everyone. Thank you. Okay, Emily.